Hi, my name is Denise Starkey. I'm a professor of theology and religious studies at the College of St. Scholastica, a Catholic Benedictine college on the shores of Gitche Gumee in Duluth, Minnesota. My research focuses on violence against women and children and the construction of healing theologies within the Catholic Christian tradition. I'm also privileged to serve as a member of the board of directors for the FaithTrust Institute. Violence against women and girls is rooted in widely accepted gender norms about men's authority and the use of violence to exert control over women. Religious institutions and churches play a large role in passing on discriminatory social norms that legitimize male power and female inferiority, in part by telling only one side of humanity's experience of God. In the past 30 years, a great deal of scholarship has addressed the ways in which theological understandings of atonement, the human person, and sin reflect the assumed norms of gender roles projected onto understandings of God, people, and salvation. There has been some progress in the evolution of the Catholic Church's understanding of women and its own culpability in restricting women's full membership. In a 2001 pastoral letter on domestic violence, Bishop Ricardo Ramirez of the Diocese of Las Cruces, New Mexico affirmed, quote, "The human person, made in the image and likeness of God, is endowed with an inherent dignity that demands respect. Violence in all its forms gravely offends that dignity and is at the same time an offense against God. This is particularly true of the violence that takes place within the home. Abuse, whether physical, verbal, mental, or sexual, that takes place among family members is a tragic reflection of the violent society of our day. The Church raises her voice in denouncing the sin of domestic violence that erodes the dignity of the human person," end quote. Such affirmations by enlightened church leaders are an important step in addressing domestic violence, but more is needed. The change that ends violence requires ensuring that the voices and experiences of all of humanity are reflected in the teachings, leadership, and practices of the Church. The exclusion of women from leadership hampers the recognition of systems of abuse and cover-up, where concern for protecting the institution takes precedence over caring for the least of these. Ending systemic sexism requires ending the exclusion of women from full participation in the Church. It is also important, especially for survivors, new generations of women and men, and persons in the pew, that the Church lift up and learn from the alternative wisdom found within its own tradition. Teresa of Avila, Catherine of Siena, Hildegard of Bingen, and Julian of Norwich are just a few of the women whose courage, integrity, and wisdom provided alternative visions of God that emphasized God's solidarity with human suffering rather than wrath and divine judgment. They also offered insights into the human journey to wholeness and flourishing that speak to us centuries later. And they spoke truth to power at times in history when to do so meant risking one's life. So, in addition to full leadership by women and men, ending domestic violence requires that the liturgical, sacramental, and educational practice of the Church become inclusive. If the Church, the people of God, is to fulfill its belief in the sacredness of all persons created in the image and likeness of God, then all aspects of the Church must reflect the full experiences of being human and the call to relationship with holy wisdom. This requires that persons of faith committed to ending violence against women, children, and disempowered men expand their understanding of the cost of exclusion and the benefits of inclusion. Thank you.